Hey, 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 everybody. How are you? Oh, I forgot my coffee. Hey, Parker. Hey, Parker. Can you grab my coffee out of the microwave? Thank you. I hope you're all doing fantastic today. We are going to paint little pine trees, and I'm really, really excited about it. Full disclosure, these were not my creation. I actually learned how to paint these little pine trees through a YouTube watercolorist. Her YouTube channel is called Mr. Otter Art. So thank you, love.
Welcome.
So please, if you have some time, give her some love. Check her out. This was a fantastic way for me to learn how to quickly and simply paint watercolor trees. Since then, I've developed my own style, but I think it's a great way for beginners, and that's why I'm showing it to you guys so that it can get you started, and then hopefully you can go ahead and paint some trees on your own. In the next couple of videos, I will be showing you some of my own trees that I have changed from this kind of version of it. So, but that'll be later. So we'll do that one maybe in August, or maybe in the fall we'll do some holiday trees. So that'll be fun. Couple things before we get started. So if you're going to paint with me today, you're going to need just some watercolor paint, and it can be even Crayola paint, like your kids' Crayola set. That's fine. So you're going to want, if you don't have greens, you're going to want some blues and yellows, and maybe some, if you have brown, we can mix a brown, but if you have brown, that's great too for some trunks, but not a big deal. You can make them green. So you'll need those colors. You're going to need some water in a bucket. I love these Folgers coffee, whatever brand, plastic bins. I love them because they're large enough to hold water so it doesn't get dirty really quick. I usually have two if I'm doing a big project, so I have clean water and dirty water, but for this little thing, we don't need that much. So a cup of water is fine. You're going to want some kind of round brush. Okay, we are doing these types of trees with a round brush. Now, if you only have like a big round brush, that's fine. Like this is a 14 or 16. So you'll just have to make bigger trees, that's all. But you want something that has these points on the end, because that's what's going to give you those nice cool branches. Okay, so you're going to want that. Hey guys, if you're here, drop me a comment. Give me a shout so I know who's watching. And if you have questions, please absolutely feel free to drop comments or questions in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. So we've got our round brushes. Flats aren't going to really work for this project, so you definitely want, even if you have the Crayola brush, I don't recall like what those look like, but it might work. It might be okay, because I think they're just kind of like this, maybe a little smaller, but it should work. Okay, so you're going to need that. You're going to need water. You're going to need your paints, and you're going to need some kind of watercolor paper. I like to use Arches watercolor paper. This is enough 140-pound weight. What that means, and it's cold press, so it's got a little bit of a texture to it. It's not smooth. Hot press is smooth. Did I grab, you know what? I might have hot press. No, this is cold press, sorry. I think I don't know what I grabbed. But anyway, cold press is easier to work on. Especially when you're just beginning, because it doesn't buckle. The paper doesn't go like this and buckle on you. Handles the water better. Now I am using a 140-pound, which is lighter than a 300-pound. So you will have maybe, depending on how much water you use, but we won't use that much on this project. Sometimes the 140-pound can get a little wavy. This is like a 300-pound, and it's just got more layers to it. It's a much thicker piece. And when I'm doing really big projects, I'll use a 300-pound. Because it lays flat the whole way, even if you put a lot of water on it. It's awesome. Hopefully you got coffee. My beautiful husband brought me Timmy Hose today, so he's awesome. He is still working from home because of COVID, so that's a little crazy. So I think he's due to go back August or September, but I love it because sometimes he goes and gets Tim Hortons. It's really awesome. I actually am really enjoying having him home. It's really nice. He just goes up in his office and works, but it's nice having him here. I think that's all we're going to need. So we can go ahead and jump in and get this party started. I am super, super excited to be here with you guys today. Oh, hello. I can see. Hi, Angela. How are you? Are you going to be painting with me, or are you just watching? Okay, so I'm going to drop you guys down to my project here so you can see what we're doing. So, boop. Okay, so here's my paper. I just ripped mine down to a 5x7 size. Doesn't have to be big, but you can draw or make your trees any size you want. You turn you around so you're not looking at it upside down. That should be pretty, whoop, sorry, everything's like backwards. So, now, please give me a little chance to warm up here. I haven't painted trees in about a year, so I don't do too many landscapes. I love these though for doing cards, note cards. These are so simple and fun to shoot out a hand painted note card to somebody, even if you're just saying hello. I got a couple things that I want to go over with you after. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'll do that first because let me turn you back because I want to show you guys a couple things. Sorry, I meant to do that before we started painting. Okay, my hair is crazy today. Don't mind it. I got the crazy bun. I wanted to show you because I'm so excited. I got new Brush Baby boxes. Check it out. Look at that. It's all nice. If you've ordered the Brush Baby product from me, you've seen my old boxes. They are this color. But what I had is I had a sticker that I put on it. I didn't have my return label here, which I love. It's already printed. And then look, it's got making the world a prettier place together. Isn't that cute? So I've eliminated a lot of my stickers that I had on here to send it out to you. And I think it just looks so much more professional and nice, especially if you're doing it as a gift for somebody. So I'm super, super psyched about that. Ordered a whole bunch, so I have lots of faith that I'm going to sell a whole lot more boxes. That's how it works, right? Mindset. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that because I thought it was cute. I also wanted to show you guys that I do have products for sale on my Zazzle account. This is actually a yearly planner, and it doesn't, what's really nice about this is it doesn't have dates. So you can use it for any year. It's blank inside. It's really made well. I love it. I actually have one for myself because I went old school a little bit. And you can look at the nice big squares. I like that because you can write quite a bit in there. It also has note sections. So you can make notes if you're at a meeting or if you're just for yourself to jot down goals. And it's got stickers. Look how cute these are. I love that. So it's got stickers you can put in into your planner to make it pretty. So if you're interested in these, I think today they're running a 10% sale on Zazzle products. So you can go to my Zazzle store. It is, I believe, it's either Nikki M Art or Nikki Millie's Art. I'm not sure which, so I don't recall. I'm sorry. But if you, I'll drop a link, and then if you're interested, you can check out some of those things. So done with that, done with self-promotion. I wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be the next free tutorial we're going to do in here is ice cream cones. So that'll be really fun. We're going to do that in July. So watch for that. I'll just pop in like today and we're going to paint together. We're going to paint some ice cream cones. Again, perfect little things for note cards. These are fantastic to use. You can drop them in the mail to somebody or frame them, little 5x7s and give them away. Okay, so with all that said, let's get back to painting. All right. So let me readjust this. Boop. Hi, Angela. I just recently started painting about a month ago. I'm working and watching. May paint this later. Awesome. Super excited. Okay. So these are fairly simple to do, especially for beginners. That's what I love about this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take, I'm not sure which one I'm going to use because I think my number 4, this is a number 4, but it's not a round. See how it's got a little bit of a point, but it's kind of missing it. So I'm going to go to my 10 because I like this point better. The first tree we're going to do is we are going to work from the, we're going to work from the bottom up. So we're going to start at the bottom and we're going to kind of pull the branches out, okay? And what's kind of cool is we're going to use that tip to kind of create these branches on our page. So I want to mix some colors. So I'm going to mix a couple of greens. So let's go ahead and dip into our, I'm going to wet my brush. If I don't have greens, so I have to make my greens. So if you have to make your green, go ahead and grab some yellow, right? Yellow and blue make green. So we're going to grab some yellow and then pick a blue. I'm going to use French ultramarine blue. So that should give me kind of a sappy looking green. Like that. And we want to mix enough that we can do the tree, the whole tree. It's not a huge tree, but we don't want to have to stop midway of painting to finish our tree. So let's get enough on our palette to do that. So mixing. Don't worry if you don't get the perfect green. This is just practice. And what's fabulous about these little trees is you can do them again and again and again and again and again. So there's really no right or wrong. So nice wet brush, nice mix of color, and then we're going to go over to our paper. Okay, and we're going to start at the bottom, and we're just going to, as we go up, we're going to make our sweeps with our brush smaller so that it goes to a tip. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes. Okay, so for this one, we're just going to kind of start down here, right? And just kind of start laying in. And notice how I'm using my tip as my branches. So as I go up, right, I am just, grab some more. I am doing my base, coming up, and I'm letting my branches kind of.
We were talking about ear raising, and then you talked about talons and needles.
Hang on one second. I kind of got my little base a little too big. I didn't want my tree quite so big, but that's okay. So we just kind of come up to the top like that. Okay. And if you get it too blocky like I did down here, just go in and add some branches to it. It's not a big deal. It's really not. That's what I love about this little project, is it's very, very kind of simple. So see how I'm just kind of pulling out from the center and creating this branch look, right? Now this side got a little blocky, so I'm going to pull that out more, make the base a little bit wider. Again, I haven't done these in a very long time. I probably should have practiced before I jumped on with you guys. I added some really dark blue here. I want to get a little bit of a shadow going. And because I'm nice and wet, it's just kind of dispersing. See how that's kind of creating this nice shadow? So, and we can just kind of come up the tree. I'm just going to put my shadow a little bit on one side. I want to get some branches here. But very sketchy. It's really quite easy. So even though I haven't done this in a while, you can see that I can fix where I don't like it. So it's really, really not a big deal. So go easy on yourself when you're first doing this, okay? So the first couple may not work. Okay, so there's that tree, which I'm going to add just a touch more blue up here because I want to just create a little bit more of a shadow. And see how it's like moving in the paint? That's because my paint is still wet, which is really, really pretty. I really like it. So I'm going to punch these out a little more. Just trying to make them a little more even. Actually, you know what you could do? So here's something too. I don't like how this is really blocky, so I can actually make two trees. So I'm just going to go ahead and go right in here and kind of create a smaller one, right in front. And what I can do to separate them out is use that blue to pull it forward. So I'm going to make a separate tree. So now we've got like two. See how you can fix things? See how simple that is? So don't panic. Never ever panic, because there's always a way. There's always a way to make it to what you want. And if I wanted, I could just keep going. I could make a couple trees. So now I'm going to grab some blue, and I'm going to go ahead and punch some color in here to make this kind of look like it's a tree in front. Right? Just like that. So now, see that? Fixed. So now I like that better. I like the fact that there are, there's two trees here. One's in front of the other. As this dries a little bit, it's a little too wet right now to kind of define the bottom area. See how it's all still kind of one? So I'm just going to give it a minute and let it dry a little bit. And then I can go back in with some blue while it's still a little damp and kind of redefine that. But that's your first tree. That's working from the bottom and going up. And if you don't want to add the darker colors, you don't have to. You can leave it all just the green, especially when you're first learning. So I'm just going to set this off to the side and give it a second to dry. I can see it's pretty wet. The other tree we're going to do is working from the top down, kind of the same way. So I'm going to mix some more color, and this time I'm going to mix a little, I'm going to do a little more yellow, I think, just because I'm feeling super summery. So I'm going to mix a little yellow here, like up here, a little greeny yellow. And then I'm going to mix some, so right here, I'm going to mix some green. Okay. So I'm going to put green here. Now on the last tree we did, because I kept it low to the ground, I didn't put in a tree trunk. This one we will. But you know what we can do? Well, let me go back. I'll show you something. What we can do while this is a little damp, let's bring this back, sorry, is I can put some brown in here. So I can grab some brown if you have some brown. If you don't have brown, you can make brown. You can make brown by mixing all three of your primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. I don't have time right now to do that because I'm afraid that this is going to dry. But what I can do is I can just come in here like this and just kind of create some ground. Now, I'm doing it super sketchy. I want some lighter colors, right, with it, and some darker colors. And then what I can do at the bottom here is you clean your brush really, really, really good. Just blot it just a bit to get just a tiny bit of water. And if you touch the edge here, it will make the paint move. And it will create like a diffused bottom. So you won't have that real harsh line, right? And it will kind of create this really pretty ground. And right in here, I'm just gonna pull that and keep some white in there. See, isn't that pretty? And then I wanna soften this edge here because I felt like it's just too harsh. And you could just keep pulling this line down. You just keep cleaning your brush to clear water. You keep pulling this down, and as long as there's water there, the paint will travel and it will get a very beautiful diffused bottom to it. So look how cute that is. Wouldn't that be just like the perfect little note card to send to somebody and just write on there thinking of you, and then a little note on the back? So I think I'm dry enough up here. I'm going to try to go ahead and add some blue to help define that little tree there a little bit. Let me test it. Yeah, it's still moving quite a bit, so I'll wait. I'll just give it another minute or so. Actually, you know what? I kind of like that. Sorry, watercolor's a lot of like feeling. I know I'm kind of all over, but sometimes it's just, you're just kind of doing it and feeling through it, so. There. Yeah, that's cute. Now, if I want to pull some white out of there, like to make it so it's not so close together, I can dry my brush really good and then just come in here and lift some of that paint out. There's other ways to do it too. Once it's completely dry, you can go in and sorry, having a brain fart. It's hard to paint and talk at the same time. You can go in and see how it lightens it. You can go in and use a magic eraser, and just lift some. Now, I could also take a paper towel and just blot in here. See how it lifts that? So I can create my white spots again, and then just kind of take some paint again, because you know, you don't want that, but just go in and create this, just to kind of give it that. There. Perfect. And then I can still go in with my blue. You don't want to mess around too much. As it dries, the more that you mess around, the blotchier it'll get, and you'll lose the shapes. So I'm going to get out of here pretty soon. I'm not going to do too much more. Just trying to give some definition there. These over. There. Super cute. I love that. Okay. That was how long? What, 10 minutes? Okay, so now let's do our other tree. So I have mixed some yellow here and some green over here, but I need more. So I'm going to mix some more. So this is like a yellow green that I want. A real kind of, just a lighter green. More yellow in it. And this one's going to be darker. And again, I want to get enough on there so I'm not halfway through trying to get some color on my brush. And you don't have to do green trees either. You could do purple, you could do red, whatever color you want. Like, it doesn't have to be realistic. It could be fun and interesting. So this one we're going to start at the top, and I'm going to start with the lighter color, the lighter yellow. So this one's a little bit easier. So we're going to start at the top, right, like that, and we're just going to kind of come down. And again, it's kind of like a squiggly. What you have to be careful with this one is you don't get it too big at the top to start. Otherwise your base is going to be huge. So I'm just kind of, again, trying to keep those branches. I'm using my yellow, my lighter yellow. So coming down. See how pretty? This one's an easier one for me to do. Some people like the other one better. I don't know. This one seems more intuitive to me to paint. Feels right. Everybody will have their favorite. So I'm going to kind of stop here because I want to do a trunk on this one. And I want some of these in the front here. Some branches in the front coming forward. So just like that. I'm moving my brush like this so I can get that nice tip. That's why. Okay, just want to even this out. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my darker green, and I'm going to do that shadow. So I'm just going to plop it in here as I come down and let it kind of move. Now, if you've noticed that some of it's dried down here at the bottom, just wet your brush a little bit more. Get a little more water on it. But now I've got this really cute shadow. And now I'm going to put my tree trunk in. So I'm going to take some brown, and I'm just going to, and it's okay. See how when I touched that, it went up into my tree? That's okay. That's really pretty. Let it do that. And I'm going to keep my main color kind of on one side. So I want it lighter on this side. So while I've got my brush loaded, I'm going to go ahead and do my dirt. We don't want just a straight line like that, right? We want it to be very free. So I like to keep it thinner at the edges. And then as I come forward, I'm going to build this out. I want to drop a little more brown in here on this side. I want this side in shadow. So I'm making it a little darker. Now to get rid of that edge on the bottom, I'm cleaning my brush really good. And I'm just touching the edge so that the water, so the paint can flow in that water. So just see how I'm just touching the edge of where I painted and just letting it kind of come down. And then if I want, I could do that again down here. I'm not going back up there. I'm just pulling clean water down here so it has room to travel in. Paint, watercolor paint will travel in water as long as it's not dry. So if I want, I can go back. I got a little hiccup here. I can go back and I can continue to add some brown over here on this side for a shadow. And you can, you know, continue to paint in here as long as it's wet to create shadows and stuff. If I wanted, if this, I don't know if it's still wet. It's a little wet up here, so I can go ahead and put some brown in here. See that? And just kind of, as it dries, it'll lighten up a little bit. So it just kind of creates that little shadow. So, you know, have fun with it. Play around and experiment and see what you can come up with. If it's starting to dry, though, you may not want to do this because what'll happen is you'll get what's called a hard edge and it won't be all soft and pretty. So if it's, see like right here, see this little edge? So if it were starting, and I like that. I love that in my paintings. But if it were really starting to dry, you would have just a, here, I'll show you. So this is like on dry paper. This is just an edge. See how it's not moving at all? Now, if I were to have something that's wet here, like a wet section, and then put that brown in there. See how it moves within the water and it's really soft? But if I go to put it on dry, expecting it to move, see how that edge is really hard? It will dry that way. Now, I don't want so much of this because I want to keep, so I'm going to wet my brush just a little and just touch this edge. So I'm going to soften this edge. I don't mind some of it, but I want these to look connected, right? And it looks like it started to dry over here. So there, just touch the edge, get it to move a little bit, and you won't have that hard edge. So there's another tree. And again, I can keep going in here as long as this is still a little wet and kind of define it. So you can play around. Put a little shadow on the bottom side of the trees, right? Defining it just a bit more. So I can just define, oh, see how that's really dry? See the difference? So I got to go in and soften that. So, and you don't have to. I could actually leave it, but I'm just going to soften this a little bit. There, just like that. So you just have to watch for things like that, but they can usually be taken care of. So cute. If you wanted, while this is wet, we'll do it on the next one. You can go in and put some blue in there, and it's really, really pretty. So we'll try that on the next one. As you can see, this one's drying very nicely. Cute, right? And then this one. So we'll set that aside. Now this next one is done with dots. Also a really fun way to do it. So for this one, I'm going to go a little darker. So I'm going to mix, same colors, I'm going to mix some blue. I'm using French ultramarine blue right here. And my yellow. And I think I'm using, I don't even know, I just grabbed a yellow, but I think it's my Winsor Newton transparent yellow. Any old yellow will do. And of course, your trees will look different depending on the paint colors and the mixes that you're using. So, you know, you can expect that. So I've got this kind of middle green. Now I want a darker green. So I'm going to go heavier on my blue. I'm going to grab some blue. I'm going to go over here and mix enough. And I'm going to grab some more yellow, but I'm not going to add as much yellow. I want a darker green. So, got that. Okay. And this one again, we are going to work, ooh, hold on, 1 moment. So with this, you're going to move upwards. We're going to start at the bottom. Now with the dots, you kind of want to leave some white spaces in between. Okay, so I'm going to start with my kind of neutral green. I'm going to start about here, and I'm just kind of speckling it. Okay, this is my center. It's more of a, I'm using more of the tip. Ah. And again, as we come up, we're going to make it smaller. And don't worry about if you've made it too small, because you can go back in and
Wow.
so here's my top, and add add branches. So see that? This one turned out awesome. I'm gonna make this one come out a little bit more. I love that. I'm just making it a little bit bigger. So what I'm doing is I'm going back in and bringing some extra branch. I made it a little small, so I'm coming back in and just making it bigger as I go to the top. Okay, and then I'm going to go up here. You can make your tops as big or small as you want. Now I'm going to take that dark green I did while it's still wet, and I'm just going to add some dots. Whoop. Or you could do that. But I wanted to add some like dots in here. But since I did that, I'm just going to go with it. So I'm basically just adding some colors in and letting it flow just to give it the variation. Now, see how it's not moving as much? That's because it's dried there. So to get it to move, I can grab a little bit of water. Oh, I got to put some over here, some darker here. And grab some water. Actually, it kind of moved, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so I like that. Now, what I'm going to do is take my brown. Okay, grab some brown.
Right next to the person who blacklisted us house.
I'm going to create, these are kind of puddly, so I'm just going to take, I got quite a puddle here. I just got to sop some of this up or else it's going to make kind of a mess. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and kind of create a trunk that's in there that you can kind of see between. So here's my trunk. Okay. And I'm just going to pop some in. See, it's like you're seeing in between the branches. You're seeing the trunk. Not the whole, I don't want to just do a line. I'm just dropping some in as if you could see it. Okay, you can make it a little thicker in some spots. And then I want to get my ground in. So I'm going to kind of stick with the dots like that. It's kind of a bumpy ground. And then here, I'm just going to kind of leave some white spots and bring this down like this. Right? Again, I'm going to soften the very bottom. So I am going to take a clean brush and pull this out. But I don't want to lose these little white spots in here, so I'm being careful not to touch those. And then here, I just want to soften this. So it's good, this is good for like Christmas ones when you want to do a little snow, gesture of snow, like on your ground. And then if you want, you could just add some more, bring this down like this, some more foreground, like that. How adorable is that? Now, since this is a little wet, I want to show you that blue. So I'm going to get some nice wet blue here. And I'm just going to drop it in along my trunk. And look at just how pretty that is. Right? So you can add all sorts of different colors and stuff. So maybe this is like a snow scene, right? And we've got a little bit of a darker shadow, but it's a blue shadow. It's like a reflection. You can just kind of add it where you want to. Like I said, as long as it's wet, it works. But it's gorgeous. I love it. So play around and have fun, see what you can do. See how you can, just the energy that you can kind of create in these paintings, the spontaneous. And you know what? Like I said, if you screw up, these are so fast and simple, it doesn't matter. You just chuck it and start a new one. There's no loss, right? So I really love, now remember, watercolor dries lighter. So I'm popping in some darker blues here because I'm just, falling in love with it. So, and look at down here, look at that. I love that. Now, if I don't like how this is kind of stopping, I just wet my brush and pull this out. So get it to move down, and same here, soften it. And then I had some here. So there. So look at these beautiful trees we created in, I don't know what time it is, but 35 minutes. We did 3 trees in 35 minutes. And for a part of that time, I did some chatting. So not even 35 minutes. So we've got, this is starting to dry. So I could actually go in once it's completely dry. It's not dry yet. I can go in and go ahead and add some more detail in here, right? If I feel like this got too soft, super easy to do. Same technique, just go over it. Same with this. I'm going to mess around with these a little bit afterward. They're not dry yet, so I can't do anything right now. If I tried to go in right now, it would disperse this paint, create lots of blooms. That's what these are, which are fine if that's what you're going for. But instead, I'm going to let it dry completely, and I'm going to go in and just kind of define this front tree a little bit more. And then this one's my favorite. I'm not sure I need to do anything on this one. I do these a lot, and I love how they turn out. These are so great for little gifts. I've done them, and then I put like an actual, you can tie a little bow and glue it to the top. So really, really cute, and it becomes a card for somebody. So I'm going to post these later. I am going to raffle them off. I'm going to add some more details for you guys. If you'd like to have one of these, if you'd like to bid on one, you can, or if you'd like to buy a raffle for one. I have posted on my live video here in the description. You can, I appreciate any donations if you feel like you did learn something or enjoyed my video, so that I can continue to provide these in the future. That would be fantastic. Any donation gift is appreciated, as small or as large as you'd like. It does help me buy supplies. It does help me with my time to give you guys these free tutorials. So it's very appreciative. If you'd like to bid on one of my trees, like I said, I am going to add more details, and I will be posting those later. You can do so through the same links. I have a Venmo link at Nikki-Millie, or you can do my PayPal me link, which is in the description. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Let me turn you back around. I really, really, really love showing you guys this stuff. If I can inspire someone to start watercolor or start being creative or painting or just trying something different, that makes me so incredibly happy. If you have questions or not sure how, what to do, you get stuck, just message me and I'll get back to you. And I look forward to seeing you guys again in July for doing ice cream cones. So hopefully you'll join me. Have a great day, and I'll see you again in the Brush Baby group. So talk to you later. Bye-bye.